Everyone knows about the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV. In the 1980s and the 1990s, this virus swept across the entire world, though it originated decades earlier. It's the infamous virus that has taken the lives of many people, and in the beginning, no one knew what was the cause or how to stop it.
I got a call from the clinic and a text saying, "We need you to call to discuss your results." And then they said, you're positive.
But inside, I have so much
cause like I thought like it's the end of the world.
Live and not die. And in that moment, again, I chose to live and not die.
Which brings us to today. Now you can live a comfortable, healthy life with the medications which suppress the virus to undetectable levels. But there's a very interesting potential cure that was tested on a mixed-race woman, and the woman has been in remission for over 2 years. But we're here to find out, was that actually just luck, or can it actually work as a cure? Well, today we will dive into everything HIV, how the virus works, why some people are immune and resistant to the virus, why it's so difficult to cure, and possible cases of cures that have worked.
My message when I was traveling, it was to give hope to people and to let them know my cure is a proof of concept.
Alright, before I dive into the ways in which people were cured from HIV, or the case that occurred where the woman was cured from HIV, if it was actually just luck, I first have to explain to you, for those of you who don't know exactly, what is HIV and how it actually works. Okay, HIV is a retrovirus that has genetic material called RNA. In bare bones explanation, it's a virus that attacks immune cells, specifically CD4 T cells. The HIV does this by using keys found on their surface that can open the doors found on the CD4 T cells. It's actually pretty unique how such processes occur in the body. Anyway, these keys on the virus are called receptors, and they have to bind to the keyholes on the doors of the CD4 T cells, i.e. receptors found on the immune T cells. These receptors on the T cells are of two kinds, CD4 and CCR5. The HIV receptors, its keys, first binds to CD4 receptor, and once that happens, it then binds to the CCR5 receptor. Following that, the HIV virus is then able to fuse with the T cells to release its contents inside the T cells, including the viral RNA. It's important to note that if the HIV does not bind to both receptors found on the CD4 T cells, then it can't release its contents into the CD4 T cells. So, after the HIV contents are released into the CD4 T cells, the RNA is then transcribed to DNA and then enters the nucleus of the CD4 T cells and fuses with the DNA of the CD4 T cells. HIV is pretty much hijacking the house of the CD4 T cells, and this leads to a bunch of things happening. Some of the CD4 T cells become factories for new HIV, while some remain dormant. Also, some of the infected CD4 T cells are killed by the body and others die from exhaustion. What makes this virus so unique too is that it's different. It never stays the same because it's always mutating due to errors occurring when copying its RNA. So that's why the body or medications can't kill it all. However, there are a few set of individuals who are immune to HIV because they have a defect in one of the keyholes found on the CD4 T cells. Remember when I told you that there were 2 receptors found on the CD4 T cells? Well, yes, people with the immunity have a mutation of the CCR5 receptor found on the CD4 T cells. And this is called CCR5 delta 32. In these people here, the HIV virus is not able to bind to both receptors, and once it can't bind to both receptors, it cannot release its contents into the cell. So let's get down to talking about the actual cure. Now, there are 2 ways in which people can define a cure as. They can define a cure as not having any virus in the body, or they can define a cure as not needing to take any medications while still being able to live a normal, comfortable life. This is where the HIV cases of people being cured comes in. Usually, HIV-infected individuals take antiretroviral drugs which suppress HIV to a level where it can't be transmitted. Now remember when I told you that some people were immune to HIV? Well, that's exactly how some people were actually cured of HIV. In 2019, there was a guy called Adam Castillo who underwent a bone marrow transplant from an individual that was immune to HIV. They had the CCR5 delta 32 mutation. So, in simpler terms, Adam became immune because he acquired the resistance. Now, just to make sure you're not confused, bone marrows are where blood cells are produced. The problem with this method here is that it's very hard to find an actual match. And of course, it's even harder to find someone with a CCR5 delta 32 mutation. And of course, with such procedures, there are chances of complications. And that is why people who do it are usually people who have some form of a blood cancer. For example, leukemia. The second promising cure was a clinical trial done on a patient from Barcelona. The patient was included in a trial with an antiretroviral treatment for 9 months and several immunomodulatory interventions with an immunosuppressant agent. Doctors found that there was a pronounced and progressive drop in the number of viruses in the reservoir, which suggests that it is controlled by the immune response. She didn't have to take any treatments again, and she's living a normal life. Now we will talk about the third promising cure that came about from a new method called haplocord blood transplant. This method is a type of stem cell transplant that takes stem cells from the blood of newborns' umbilical cord and haploidentical donor cells, which are usually from relatives. The patient was in remission for approximately 18 months while being removed from antiretroviral therapy and without graft. This basically means that she has been living a normal life without treatment or a trace. And I believe this is one of the most promising out of all the methods. And I don't believe it was luck too, because she was induced into developing the CCR532 delta mutation, which was induced because she was given that from a person who was immune before. So yeah, many people today who are infected with HIV are living normal, comfortable lives because of the advancements of medicine. And of course, more situations and more studies are coming out frequently of potential cures. And there are more cases today of people being cured, actually cured of the virus, and functionally cured of the virus. So people who have HIV right now should be feeling very hopeful, because right now things are looking bright. By the way, did you know that a deficiency in vitamin D can lead to depression or dementia? Well, I have a video right here talking about it. You can go and check it out. Anyway guys, if you did enjoy the video and you found value from this video here, then please leave a like on the video. And of course, if you want to see more health and wellness videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.